Hello all and welcome, and I am the mgtowphilosopher, and in this video I would like to reply to a post by a Miss Sex in the Valley. Oh god. So already, immediately right off the bat, we have sorta kinda a reference to Sex in the City. And after you listen to this chick talk, you're gonna know what I mean, okay? Totally indoctrinated, totally deluded, broad, thinks that she can be any age, look any way, still get a man. Unbelievably ridiculous. I'm not gonna post the video, just the sound. I'll leave a link in the description. You can go check her out directly and see what I'm talking about. So this broad, who is essentially, looks a little chubby to me. I'm looking at the arms. I see fat around the joints of her shoulders and the flabby arms, and can't see the body because, of course, she's just being shot from the chest, upper chest up. But I'm sure she's chubby. The face, so-so. She's not bad looking in that, you know, she looks like she's at least 40. And I'm sure in her day she was fine. But, you can see the lines, you can see the laugh lines, you can see the crow's feet. You know, she's got all the, the manicured eyelashes, and she's clearly trying to hide with makeup and such all the, little problems with her face. And there's quite a few. I mean, she's got a lot of lines, a lot of wrinkles, there's a lot of miles on that odometer. And she's basically bitching and moaning about how she would rather die alone because finding a man is just too difficult. This video just really got on my nerves, and you'll see what I mean when you listen to it. It's unbelievably ridiculous. Let's begin.
I wasn't gonna make a video again this soon, but I'm seriously just like pissed off today. I finally deleted the dating apps because I'm so incredibly over it. I'm so tired of getting blown off. I'm so tired of trying to talk to a guy and make a genuine connection and then having him back out.
Genuine connection. Okay, so automatically this broad is living in fantasy land. No woman that understands reality starts talking about genuine connections. There's no such thing as genuine connections. Men are looking to screw, okay, honey? What you feel is a genuine connection, that doesn't actually exist. I mean, that's just like stuff you read in romance novels and see on crappy TV shows like that Sex in the City bullshit that convinced a whole generation of older women and women who were about to enter into the post-wall phase that they could somehow be old and somehow still get men and settle down. And, well, you could get men, you could be a cougar, but nobody's going to want to marry you.
Last minute, or say that this is my favorite excuse. I deserve better than him, and he's just not ambitious and strong enough for a woman like me.
I love that excuse. That's the old George Costanza. It's not you, it's me. Honey, when somebody says that, clearly you never watched Seinfeld. I guess there was too much red pill truth about life in that show. Clearly, you never heard that. So when somebody says it's not you, it's me, it's you. Okay, it's you. All right? And the stuff he's saying, he's not ambitious enough for you. Clearly, what he's doing is throwing your own expectations back in your face. Your complaints that he wasn't ambitious enough or enough of this or enough of that. And he was just tired of hearing your nagging, complaining ass. He's just fine. It's you that has the problem.
Give me a fucking break. What a lame cop-out.
Well, he's trying to tell you that it's you. It's not him, it's you. He just doesn't have the balls or the the stomach to tell you right to your face because he doesn't want a scene.
God, if you're that insecure, why are you even doing this?
Wow, you're an idiot, aren't you? He's not insecure. He's telling you that your expectations are too high. You're some old broad with cats who's looks like she's a little overweight, more than a little overweight, probably qualifies as fat, and who has very high expectations and wants an ambitious man who earns a lot of money. So you are a post-wall broad, at least 10 years past the wall, carrying around about 30, 40 pounds of junk in the trunk, from what I can see. I see the flabby arms even in this picture that I'm watching in this video. And yet you want a man that's this, that, and this. Totally unrealistic expectations. This is a perfect example of a Western woman and why you should avoid them at all costs.
I just, ugh. The last straw was I had like one last guy that I messaged before I quit the dating app, and you know, he hadn't been very proactive. Like, I was out of town, I came back, and he was really excited about me before I left, and then 8 days later, you know, it's like I'm forgotten.
Yeah, you disappeared for 8 days. You didn't speak to him for 8 days, and he lost interest. I wonder why, princess. She's at the age of 40 plus, she's shit testing guys, and she's amazed when these guys fail the shit test, meaning they don't want to pony up for any more rides. And this guy hadn't even met you. So this is some guy you were essentially talking to on a dating app. You'd never met. You never went out on a date. He had never essentially banged you. And so you expected this guy to just wait very, very excitedly on the sidelines for you to come back from your little 8-day trip, and you returned after 8 days, and surprise, he'd moved on. Yeah, because you're some broad he was talking to online, and there was no actual connection there. And she's wondering why she can't form connections with guys, and then she doesn't speak to him for over a week. Bingo, you dummy! There's why you can't form a connection. You idiot!
Bullshit. And he, you know, I told him, hey, I'm deleting the app if you want to stay in touch, you know. And he was like, yeah, cool, and we exchanged numbers. And, I mean, he's got shit going on in his life. I know he's busy, but he just hasn't been proactive.
Hasn't been proactive! This from the broad that went away for 8 days and had no contact with the guy and expects him to be waiting with bated breath for her to return like you're so wonderful. What makes you so wonderful? Why don't you be proactive? Jesus Christ. Talk about entitled. These broads don't get it. They have a certain amount of sexual marketplace value, and after a point, it fades away. Now, I'm looking at her face, okay? If the body is not horrible, she would qualify as maybe a 5. Maybe. Put on some makeup, a lot of makeup. She might make it up to a 5.5 or a 6 if she's not fat. But I'm guessing just based on the little puffiness around the underarm and the tricep area that she's packing some major junk in that trunk. So who is she to be so entitled and picky? What are you thinking, lady? What are you thinking? He's going to be proactive for you? For you? Are you kidding me? You're at best a 5. When you're a 5 and you're over 40, you should feel lucky to get the guy that pumps your tires up at the gas station. You should feel lucky to get that guy. You know, there's the squeegee. I'm talking about the homeless guy. I mean, maybe if she was a 2 or 3, she would have to settle for the homeless guy that squeegees the fucking windshield. When you get stopped at the red light and uses a newspaper to wipe the fucking windshield down, and all it does is leaves fucking ink stains all over your fucking windshield and black streaks from the ink. No. She's not that low. I mean, so she should at least expect, say, the guy that, like, squeegees the fucking windows at the gas station. But this chick is actually expecting a high-level guy when she's post-wall, and at best a 5. Are you kidding?
And so I pushed it a little bit. And
pushed it how? You went away on vacation for 2 weeks this time?
Then, you know, we set up plans to supposedly hang out today at 5. And by 3, he still hadn't gotten a hold of me to say anything about, like, where we should meet or what we would do.
Yeah, he blew you off, honey. Hey, he blew you off. This is the wonderful thing about women these days. They think that they can't be blown off. It's like, it doesn't happen. A man can't blow me off. I can blow men off. But fuck him, he can't blow me off. Nobody can blow me off because I'm a woman and I have a vagina. That doesn't happen to me.
And I'm just so done with this shit. Like, at least have the courtesy to plan a date. It doesn't...
You mean like the courtesy you had for going away for 8 days and having no contact with him?
Have to be fancy, but, like, set a freaking day and time.
Why don't you set a day and time? You're supposed to be this liberated, independent woman, strong on your own 2 feet. You don't need a man. You need a man like a fish needs a bicycle. So why don't you be proactive? Why don't you set a date? Why don't you set a time, huh? And this shit pisses me off so much. Broads like this so entitled, expecting the man to do everything, but they don't bring very much to the friggin' table.
Time and place is not that hard.
If it's not that hard, why don't you do it, huh? Oh, you want a chivalrous man who's going to take care of everything. But you're not a real lady. I mean, just listening to you talk tells me that. And I'm looking at you, and you clearly don't take very good care of yourself. Your body, I can tell just from what I see, is not that great. So the only thing you bring to the table is your sexual marketplace value, because we don't give a shit about your actual monetary value, and your value is low. So why should I go to all that trouble?
I'm just like, I'm seriously so pissed off. So over it. Like,
oh, boo-hoo, boo-hoo. You're so pissed off. Who gives a fuck?
my time is valuable too, and I deserve some consideration. And
Why? Aren't you? I think this is what I don't get. You know, this broad is clearly not a considerate person. You know, she doesn't consider the other person. She doesn't stop to think how her going away for 8 fucking days affected this guy and how he might or may not be interested in her. Yet he's supposed to be all considerate of her. And by the way, I'm sure there's a much longer history here of her acting very inconsiderate and nonchalant about all the men she's met on these dating sites. And by the way, honey, dating sites are just for porking. If you're looking to meet a guy for a long-term relationship, a dating site is not the way to go. Okay? Generally not the way to go. And by the way, men on dating sites, they expect you to put out. They expect you to put out. It's something like a third to up to 40. It's something like around 40% of guys that go on dating sites, they can expect to get laid. They can expect to get laid. Now, that might sound good, though, you guys out there, but the only problem with that is that a lot of these women use fake pictures, bait and switch tactics, so you could go to expect to get laid, and then you got a fat chick waiting there for you.
I'm not going to lower my fucking standards anymore.
Oh, here we go. Oh, you lowered your standards where? When? How? See, I always hear this. Look at that. You never lowered your standards. I'm sure your standards were never lowered. And even when you lowered them, you didn't lower them. You're talking about this one guy and how, you know, he broke up with you because he was essentially tired of you telling him that he wasn't ambitious enough, that he didn't work hard enough. So you never lowered your standards. You got with him, and then you tried to change him, and he didn't like how you were trying to change him. So he told you why he was leaving you without telling you why. Because he didn't want a confrontation. He didn't want to hurt your feelings. I wish he had hurt your feelings and said to you, bitch, I'm leaving you because you're not happy with me. You're telling me I'm not ambitious enough. You're telling me I don't work hard enough. You're telling me I'm not good enough for you, so fuck you. Instead, he phrased it in the wrong way. You know, I don't feel good enough for you. I don't feel ambitious enough for you. What he was telling you, honey, is that you need to accept him for who he is, and you won't accept him for who he is, because, of course, with every woman who says that she's lowered her standards somehow, and then is miserable with all the guys she's with, because, oh, she never actually lowered her standards. Women don't do that. They don't lower their standards. They get this idea in their head of this white knight, fucking king-like man that's so noble and strong and heroic, and he opens the doors for me and picks shit up for me and pulls my chair out for me, and he makes $250,000 a year at least, and he's tall and attractive and all this fucking romance novel shit. And then she ends up with a guy that doesn't fit any of those criteria, and then she tries to change him. And that's her idea of lowering her standards.
Just because men can't be bothered to give common courtesy to...
Yeah, like you, who tries to change people and make them be something that they're not, just to make you happy, which makes them miserable, but you don't give a shit. And then, like you, goes away for 8 days and has no contact with a guy and expects him to be waiting expectantly for you when you get back, even though you've never even met him.
A woman anymore. Just, I'm so over it.
I'm over you. Ay, ay, ay. Tell me what you think in the comments, guys. This woman, another deluded harridan. I am the mgtowphilosopher, and I wish you a good day. Take care.